Hi guys, it's Julia here, and today's video is not super heavy in methodology. It's more of a product of my own recent reflections and thoughts on like what I could do to become a better teacher without actually doing much, if that makes sense. And I thought that reading is the answer. And when I say reading, I don't mean like grammar reference books. I don't mean methodology books. I mean like normal human reading, fiction reading. So yeah, let's see. Right, so we're going to talk about why reading fiction can make you a better reader. And I said fiction for a reason. So I don't mean like your, again, grammar reference books or how to teach reading books. Just normal reading of books that you enjoy, of books that you find interesting. How that could translate into you improving as a teacher. Let's see. Okay, so this is the list that I was able to come up with. I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about this, so you might have even more reasons, but yeah. So my first one is empathy and perspective taking. Obviously, when you read, you are in somebody else's shoes. You see the world through their eyes. You see their reasoning behind things that they do and how they do things. And I think it's extremely important for us as teachers because we work with people. And sometimes we forget that, at least I do, that not everybody sees the world the same way that we do. And I feel like reading is a great way of trying and look at the world through somebody else's eyes, which is basically something we should be doing in the classroom anyways. But this is a nice stress-free way of doing so. So yeah, another reason is your headspace and insights. And when I say headspace, what I mean is we are, as teachers, as language teachers, we're used to viewing language as a job, which it obviously is. But then it's nice to just enjoy the language and to not think about how you're going to teach it, but read something and kind of have fun with the language and see how like, oh, wow, it's so nice how they made that sentence sound. Oh, it's a nice choice of words, that kind of sound. So it's using language, but for your own enjoyment and for you having fun. And I think that as language teachers, we sometimes forget about it. And again, reading is a nice way of gaining that control back and trying to enjoy the language for what it is. Right. Now, language awareness, obviously, if you have enough brain power to reflect on the language and not to just be like, oh, that's nice collocation, or oh, that's a nice little idiom, but to actually actively notice it, right? And then maybe write it down, maybe just make a mental note, right? And it doesn't end with vocabulary. It's style, tone, the grammar they use, idioms, collocation. So it's language as a whole. And very often I speak about your students noticing the gap, them noticing how their production is different from where they want to be, and like making them reflect on what they can do to bridge that gap. For us non-native speakers, this is basically that, but on our level. So reading a novel is basically being exposed to great language. Not always, like I don't really do this every time I read. Sometimes I just read for the sake of the story, or like I don't have enough headspace or enough brain power to be reflecting on the language they use there. But it could be a nice exercise, and paying attention to the language and doing it through a story, through reading a story that you enjoy, and like doing it while having fun. I feel like there is way less pressure compared to like doing a controlled exercise or something. So yeah, just a great way of reflecting on your own language and maybe learning through reading as well at the same time. Now, beyond language awareness, obviously books are language, but then you also get some nice teaching ideas, and you get the obvious ideas like what language you can teach and which works for all the levels, because you could find nice vocabulary or nice grammar or nice model sentences that could work with your elementary class, but also something that could work with your C1s and C2s. But then it's also getting ideas and like getting those random insights when you are not even looking for something, and things like lead-in ideas, questions that you can ask them ideas, even just lesson topics ideas. It's so refreshing when those ideas don't come from a course book, but they come from the outer world. I always find it like it makes me very happy when I'm able to find something outside. And I think, again, reading and books, they're a great source of those ideas. And sometimes you find them even when you're not looking for anything. So that's the added bonus. So you don't have to be actively searching for stuff. It finds you. And I think that's kind of cool. And classroom communication. Books essentially are well-formed thoughts on paper. Even without a conscious effort, your brain is still exposed to it. Just like it is exposed to great language, it's also exposed to great, not always, but more often than not, to the author expressing their thoughts in a nice way when it's worded and phrased in such a way that it conveys the idea that the author had. So it's something that we as teachers, because it's all we do, like we convey ideas and we convey concepts. So that's a model, which I think is cool. And again, you don't need to make a conscious effort. You don't need to take notes. The more you read, the more your brain will be shaped by it. And it's just a subconscious process that, because sometimes I say something in the classroom and I'm like, ooh, how did I come up with that? So yeah, being exposed to books will do that to you. Those are my 5 ideas. If you've got more, please let me know in the comments. Please share. Also, if you're reading something good at the moment, I need recommendations. I need books. I've got a list of books that I'm going to read, and I will probably share that on my Instagram, like my little reading list and stuff. But again, if you've got some nice books, please share. Any ideas on reading, please share. You can also find more of my thoughts and more of my teaching and more of me on my Instagram, which is right here. So if you scan the code, it'll take you there. I mostly talk about methodology there, but I also post things of my everyday teaching life and just some activity ideas and just random pictures as well. So yeah, follow me and stay tuned. More stuff is coming.